Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan.
What amazed me about Pearl Harbor, just in reading, was it's a movie that really hasn't been done. And it was staggering to hear such an amazing story. And it's truly a tragic story, but through this tragedy comes this amazing American power that rises from these ashes.
Hawaii before Pearl Harbor was about as far away from the war as you could possibly be and still be in the military. An interesting thing about Hawaii is that it is as far away from any other major landmass as you can be on the face of the planet Earth.
And there were all these strafe marks, bullet hits that had been left from Zeros during the actual attack at Pearl Harbor. And then all of a sudden I thought, oh my God, I'm standing in a place where people were, where this event actually happened.
We were driving in the Buick, and first pass over, he was about, like 30 feet over our heads. And we were like, oh, this is nothing, whatever. So we go back around. I'm getting kind of cocky now, and I'm driving. And they're like, oh, he's coming. Everybody's freaking out. And I'm like, oh, they're doing a great job. I turn around, and it's literally on top of us. We look in the monitor, and it disappears behind us. And the other wings, our car has wings for, like 5 seconds. And then it, boom, just barely goes over us. We're driving, and it's like, boom. We can feel the props.
I mean, it was the most insane shoot the first day of filming for me, or the second day. The first day was the boxing. And they had the planes going through, and they had shrapnel popping, and they had extras and bodies being blown apart next to my head.
So it was like, oh my God. But outside of that, we were not afraid. Admiral Yamamoto was a well-educated man, and he had studied in the United States, and he served as a military naval attaché to various Japanese embassies, so he's a well-learned man in terms of Western cultures.
We're strong, we're rich, we're tough, we're resilient and resourceful. I mean, we're the United States. And, but the United States isn't the United States until we do what is done in this film. I mean, these people that grew up, I think if there is one thing for them, another thing for them to learn, rather, is that they live in a country today that is what it is today, whose identity is forged literally inside the moment of this event.
It didn't surprise me that the survivors would view that as in some ways, as the high point of their lives, the most intense hour that they ever lived, because it was so unexpected.
And it was easily the most grueling and difficult physical experience, in some ways psychological experience, I've ever had to go through, to the point where I had no idea. I mean, I was shocked that they put us in this.
Working with the survivors, having them there, hearing their stories, standing on the deck of a ship that they were, that he was either overthrown or sunk or still underwater, having them relay to us the horrors that were going on and the confusion that was happening and the friendly fire that they were taking, because nobody knew what was going on, and it was a real mess. There was so much smoke they couldn't see anything. There was so much fires burning, so much tragedy all around them, and the fact that they survived it, they can't quite believe it themselves.
Yeah, this is huge. It's a huge, the scale of the picture is unbelievable. The colors in the picture are unbelievable. It's going to be a visually stunning film. You're not going to be able to forget.
The vision as it came through the cinematography and the crew and all the actors working together to make this script, which I say was a very lovely script, to make it come alive, I think is going to be big stuff and serve a need.
I also hope that young people who are seeing this for the first time, who are really being exposed to this event for the first time, will understand not only the event, but the character of the people.
Because you don't want to forget about atrocities and whatnot from our history. And so the retelling of stories like this, I think, builds character for new generations.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy. The United States of America was suddenly and deliberately attacked by naval and air forces of the Empire of Japan. The United States was at peace with that nation. I regret to tell you that very many American lives have been lost.